Hey everybody, this is graphic designer Roberto Blake, and in today's YouTube video, I'm going to give out some tips for graphic design students. Now, if you're not a graphic design student and you just happen to actually already be a graphic designer, these tips will actually still help you, so definitely stay tuned and check all of them out. So, the first tip that I'm going to give to you graphic design students out there in general is just to actually learn as much as you can about graphic design history and the philosophies and principles that go behind graphic design. Now I know that sounds extraordinarily boring, but it's really going to help you throughout your career to learn things like Gestalt uniforming principles, color theory, and what positive and negative space is about. So just make sure that you're actually paying attention to what your professors are saying, because you're paying to be in the class. You might as well get the most out of it that you possibly can. So moving on to some more general advice, I actually have a really helpful tip for you guys that really helped me a lot. This isn't like a paid promo for them or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you that you should be reading stuff like Advanced Photoshop Magazine and Photoshop Creative. So one of the things I like about Advanced Photoshop Magazine is they don't just have tutorials, they also have articles, interviews from other graphic designers, and a showcase of work from other designers that you can definitely take inspiration from. So definitely make sure you're checking out magazines like Photoshop Creative and Advanced Photoshop Magazine. One of the things you should definitely do as a designer is invest in a good set of headphones. I use these Sennheiser headphones. Those of you who are audiophiles know that Sennheiser makes some of the best stuff. These are relatively cheap headphones. I paid 20 bucks for them, but they are fantastic, and I use them as my monitor headphones when I'm doing my editing, but I also use them in general just to listen to music. You can get all kinds of different headphones. Maybe if you're more into the music scene, you spend 50, 60 bucks on your headphones, or maybe you got Beats by Dre headphones if you're super expensive like that. I don't know. I'm not too fancy. These work fine. The reason I bring up the headphones is music is really good for inspiration and just setting the mood for what you're going to work on. A lot of times I listen to more energetic, upbeat stuff, and occasionally I'll throw in some classical there because it really just helps de-stress me and helps me work on my projects. So definitely make sure that you build up a good music library, you have a great set of headphones, and that you just have a diversity of music to listen to when you're working on your projects and trying to be creative. This tip is going to surprise a lot of you. Read comic books. Absolutely read and collect comic books. You don't have to spend money on the new ones. Just go find like a bunch of old comic books from somewhere and buy them for like 10 or 50 cents a piece. And I'm going to explain why you need to be reading comic books as a graphic designer. You're not reading them for the stories and creativity, even though that's amazing and awesome. The reason you're doing it is because of all of this stuff. Comic books are this rare and interesting thing. They combine typography, layout, composition, color theory, white balance, positive and negative space, compositioning, lighting, iconography, all these things in just one simple publication that's usually 20 to 30 pages, framing, angles. There's just so much inspiration you can take from what's done here, and it's just executed so well, and it's a good example of what it's supposed to be, which is storytelling. Ultimately, graphic design is just visual communication, which at the end of the day comes down to telling stories. Most of your advertisements, most of your promotions and everything like that, they're conveying a message and they're telling a story. Those are the most compelling ones. So definitely take a look at that, and make sure you take the time to collect some comic books and draw inspiration for them. Who knows, your next great idea and great project might come from something you read in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man. Now, if you're in the online space and you are constantly looking for new information or help with technical problems, one of the things I recommend is checking out the Adobe.com forums. If you go to the forums, you'll usually find that people are asking the same questions that you are and that other people have answered them. You'll also find new information about updates and different things that are going on, and it's a good way to just be part of the conversation and part of the creative community. So make sure you're checking out the forums on the Adobe website and just any graphic design forums that you can find. And finally, what I think is one of the most important and essential tips that I can give you as a student or as a graphic designer in general is get back to pencil and paper. Ultimately, a lot of you are working digitally, and that's great. I mean, I've been working digitally throughout the majority of my career. I can't remember the last time I actually used an X-Acto knife. So ultimately, you are going to be using the computer to execute your work, but in the brainstorming, planning stages, and research, pen and paper is a great way to get out your ideas, not end up twiddling your thumbs and wasting time. Go ahead and get out your ideas, sketches, and doodles and see what works and what doesn't, and to be able to get some initial feedback and just work out things like layouts, lockups, and different things, even potential word marks and illustration. Definitely practice your illustration skills. You don't need to draw to be a graphic designer. I cover that in a whole nother video, but it does help sometimes, whether you have any artistic ability or not, just to get your ideas on paper and out of your head. Well, that's it for this quick video on tips you can use as a student or as a graphic designer in general. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and took something away from it. If you have any tips or advice for graphic design students or just in general, make sure you're leaving those in the comment section below if you think I didn't cover something. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other graphic design videos on the channel. And as always, you guys, thanks for watching.